Hello and welcome to another Critical Rocket video. Something a bit different today. Just thought I'd try something new with a friend of mine here who is Verrak, who is also a member of Tor. Join us.
Hello.
Verrak is very much a different kind of player to me, whereas I prefer stock loadouts. Verrak is very much about
I'm
the
all
meta.
about the meta.
Yeah, so this is just going to be a series every now and then, just going to be me and Verrak. We're doing a couple of drops and talking some shit about MWO. I'd also like to say, if you want to check out Verrak's videos, he does a bunch of MWO drop videos himself. I'll link his channel in the description at the end of the video.
Yeah, please don't try to pronounce it.
Yeah, I won't I won't disgrace myself by trying to pronounce the channel name, but the link will be fine for everyone. So, a little bit about yourself, Verrak, in regards to MWO. How long have you been playing MechWarrior and such?
Oh, do you talk about MechWarrior as a game, as the game whole BattleTech industry, or just
No,
MechWarrior Online?
just from the digital, the computer sort of side of it.
Oh, that probably started around with MechWarrior 2, then 3, then 4, and now we're on MechWarrior Online.
And I think you've been... Did you get into the beta before I did for MechWarrior Online? I think you did.
Yeah, closed beta.
Yeah, I think I was in the ass end of the closed beta, and just before it went open by about a month.
Yep, I coughed up $120 and got my ass in the closed beta.
Yeah, you're one of those rich gits who had 120 bucks lying around by a legendary mech, because I was stuck with veteran status, so all I got was just like just crap, really.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's more like the fact that I choose to not eat.
So PGI, how do you think they've been doing of recent?
You mean recent?
Yeah, I mean, we all know the early days of it, the slog of waiting for any features, that kind of thing.
Well, it do seem like they called in the voodoo priests and resurrected the corpse that was PGI before. I mean, they did pull their thumb out of their asses and got community warfare running, and now they're actually going to fix some of the major bugs, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. It's so much content so quickly. It's not the PGI I remember from the last... Is it nearly 3 years now we've been waiting?
Yeah.
Very different product.
Yeah, they promised community warfare should be online at April 2014 was the first promise. But then something happened, it went all quiet, and we got to play an entire summer of nothing. And then they said, oh well, here's some clan mechs to patch up the wounds you have gotten from us lying to you. And it kind of worked, but now people are getting sick of all the clan packs and all the money they have to shell out to actually buy the things.
Well, do you believe the excuses they gave, where they said that the publisher IGP was responsible for most of the delays regarding community warfare and other features, or do you think that was just a smokescreen?
That was probably just a smokescreen. They just broke it up with IGP, and it was a good scapegoat for blaming all the other problems on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think they were kind of just sort of covering their asses for their own lack of work, really.
And then we have the whole Nico debacle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate, obviously, on the channel about why Nico was gone. I know a lot of people had issues with him, but I also know a lot of people sort of like the guy. And we have no idea whether he went because he was fired, or whether he just left because that was just, I don't know, his choice, whether he found better work or something.
Well, as you're saying, it's all speculation, but what I've heard and the behavior I've seen on the forums regarding criticism, I do believe he has had a big role to play in that.
Yeah, I think if that is the case, I think the final straw was probably the transverse situation and Reddit.
Oh yeah, that was a scandal, if not.
Yeah. I mean, I've given PGI a lot of stick in the past because I've made a couple of just sort of general sort of ranty videos on PGI in the past, and it was at a time where I was kind of upset with them, and I think I'm slowly turning around to liking them. I'm still getting used to this like new version of them that actually want to do like their work, give us the features. I mean, at the time of this recording, we're going to be getting probably the first major patch for Community Warfare, which is going to fix a lot of the early issues, such as things like zerging and obviously correcting some of the maps, making them a bit more competitive.
Oh, and also launching the 64-bit client.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see how that runs.
Well, it's going to be quite nice for multi-core users, and for us running a 64-bit OS, it should work better with our computers.
Wait, do you run a 64-bit OS?
Oh, yes.
Right, okay.
So it should work quite nice for me, and instead of the system trying to simulate a 32-bit interface. And of course, taking up CPU power that way.
Right, so as I said before, you're very much about the meta, aren't you, Verrak? Or Arnold.
Yeah.
And
you see, you have to do the meta. Oh, you can't do without the meta. You have to do the meta. If you do the meta, then you're fine. If you don't do the meta, then you're a noob.
I think I've proven in my videos that you don't quite need the meta to have a successful run. I think it helps. I'm not gonna lie.
Lies.
I would say that anyone who runs meta builds will get much higher damage score than me, because the stock builds, they aren't perfect by comparison.
Oh yes. Let's discuss the prime example for instance, the Direwolf.
All right, yeah, that's a good mech to choose. It's very popular with the meta.
Well, the there's actually several meta builds. There is one with the UAC5s. You have 4 UAC5s and then a selection of lasers. Then I think the lasers aren't that important. It's the 4 UAC5s who are the quite important stuff. And then you have the dual gas, dual PPC build.
Yeah.
Those are the two I know of.
Yeah, I mean, the LBX or the AC5 build, I mean, they're both pretty fucking vicious. They just tear your mech apart in seconds.
Yeah, and they're pretty fucking annoying, because as soon as you get hit with it, your screen starts shaking violently, and you don't know where you are. You don't know where you're looking, you don't know where you're going. And you just see your paper doll taking all crazy kinds of damage.
Hey, but my problem with it in the end is I feel that the meta just turns perfectly good mechs into like either stronger or weaker carbon copies of existing mechs. I mean, it's like we had the dual AC-20 Jaeger, and then other people found other ways to put dual AC-20s in a different mech, or they found like the dual Gauss build. If you can fit 2 Gauss rifles, that's what you're going to do. And I think it really weakens a lot of the mechs. That sort of the connection to BattleTech is like, why even have X mech if all you're going to do is turn it into a dual Gauss mech, you know?
Well, you see, the meta builds were quite important in the games. I mean, MechWarrior 2, 3, and 4, you always tried to do the most amount of damage, and that way you had to get creative with the builds and what weapons you choose for your mechs.
Yeah, I think that was fine in regards to fighting against the AI. Oh, there's a shitload of them in Bravo 4 on that hill below. It's just, against players, I just think maybe it's just kind of boring.
Well,
I mean, that's for me personally. I don't think anyone who runs a meta build is a bad player, and I don't think they're being dickheads or anything. I don't know, maybe I'm just a purist, because I like BattleTech so much that I couldn't really bring myself to run something that isn't an awesome.
Well, the thing is, with the meta builds, you have one guy who discovers the meta. And then you have another guy who sees this meta, and then decides to do a copycat of that. So what you really have is a bunch of copies running around, not being individuals. And you decided to be a quite strong individual while you using the standard builds. Therefore, one could say that you're being the original, and all we others doing the meta builds are being copies.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else that I had a gripe with PGI about, with the ridiculous number of hard points they give a mech. You know, it's like the Banshee, for instance. The Banshee, the standard BNC 3E. There's a mech that has, in the tabletop, in Battletech, it has one ballistic in its right torso and energy in its left, or it's the other way around, but either way, it's 1 on 1. And PGI look at this and go, oh, fuck that shit, let's put 2 energy slots in and 3 ballistics. It's almost like they're trying to make people come up with very specific meta builds.
Yep. And I got absolutely murdered by standard builds.
Yes, I just got dropped.
That goes to show. Bringing a 4 Ultra 85 Daka Wolf to a game doesn't equal with victory. At best, it gives you a decent damage, and hopefully your team can carry you the rest of the way.
Well, yeah, that's what you hope for in the long run, isn't it?
Well, and it always seems that my ELO is so viciously high that I get dropped in with idiots, and then I face down semi-good players.
Well, I mean, that brings up the pug situation, doesn't it? It's almost like a dirty word to say, I'm going pugging.
Well, isn't the pug a slur at this point?
Yeah, it virtually is. As I remember asking, because I was a relative noob at the time to this, and I was like, what the hell does pug mean? And I think Toyo told me it was a pickup group. I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. But
still, it's used as a mean slur at this point.
Yeah, it's virtually a mean slur. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who play on their own, but they're in a clan or a unit. So does that mean they're pugs? No. So I don't know. It's a bit of icy ground, really.
Well,
but
I
know
think you should be. You should be careful of who you call a pug.
Yeah, it gets thrown around a lot. I don't like it. It's like people when you're in a public match and someone's screaming in chat in all caps, like, we used to go around this side of the fucking map. Oh, noob team. It's like, I'm not fucking psychic. I can't read your mind. I don't know where you want me to go. Just telling me, like, go left.
Well, and also they have a unique view of the battlefield, whereas you being concentrated on one thing, they have the general picture, and their general picture is often quite nice and much better than your small view of what is actually going on. So of course they're gonna think, oh, he's a failure, he didn't notice a single mech off to the corner of his eye. But the thing is, you didn't notice the mech in the corner of your eye because you were so viciously focused on the more serious threat in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm spectating someone, I'm like, how did he not see that guy? He was just there, like, yeah.
Tunnel vision.
I wouldn't type it in chat. I wouldn't, like, get all ragey at somebody. I mean, it's a free-to-play game in the long run.
Well, I do like when people rage.
Well, yeah, you do. Because you like trolling people, that's why.
Gordon Herman. We do have the most famous one of all. The all-time rager, Banano.
Well, I don't know. Some people.
I haven't seen him.
Oh, no, we haven't seen Banano for a while, but
I think I haven't seen Banano for like 1.5 years.
I was going to say, there's probably a few people who may listen to this who may have even seen the infamous to keep the minimap in third person, press Alt F4.
No, you hold Alt while entering third person to keep minimap.
Yeah, the number of people you got on with that one. Why don't you give it a try? Go on, just for old time's sake.
Yeah, let's give it a try. Just gonna slow down so I don't get murdered.
Right, now, for anyone listening, this might not sync with the videos, so you may see this a little later, or you may see it a little earlier on, depending on how I edit this. So, but if someone vanishes, it's gonna be good.
Well, it's either that someone vanishes, or someone rages, or they think it's funny. It's
Yay!
Oh, there went one.
We got one.
One
on the other team. That was lucky. It's classic, isn't it? I just can't believe it works.
It's a double-edged sword, and it's nice when it works, and it's boo when it doesn't.
I mean, at least you can reconnect now, because back in the time when you couldn't, the people would just be out of the match permanently.
Yeah, I don't know. Was I a reason to the reconnect function? I couldn't have made that big of an impact for that.
I wouldn't say you were personally the reason for the reconnect function. I think you may have played a certain part in it. I think they had a lot of bugs with the reconnect function, like they did of every other feature they had in the game. You know, they add something and it breaks, and they add something else and it breaks.
Well, Ghost Heat. That is inherently broken.
Fucking Ghost Heat. Yeah, Ghost Heat was just one of those weird mechanics, and I assume it was to try and curtail their own meta.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, if anyone was playing like back in the days of closed and early open beta, you may remember the 6 PPC Stalker, for instance, amongst other builds, and that was one of the big reasons for Ghost Heat being added to the game. But ever since, it's horrendous. It makes clan ERPPCs near worthless.
Oh yes. And also, the clan small lasers, they are affected by Ghost Heat, whereas the Inner Sphere isn't.
Ah, I did not know that. I mean, that's a weird decision. Is that why we get so many small pulse laser fire stars?
Yeah.
Because they're not getting the Ghost Heat situation. Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Now, why am I being
Oh, we reconnected. You reconnected. Alright, it took him a while.
Now, this Atlas doesn't know minimum range.
Yeah, I'm sort of duking it out with a Victor over here. See what his build is. AC-20 large pulse. I mean, it's kind of bare bones. It's kicking the shit out of me though.
Oh, and I died. I guess I should have zigged when I zagged.
Ah. Just when I want LBXs to actually be like, critical weapons like they should be. I can't get this guy's torso. No, I'm dead. Fuck. I was like, how many LB5 rounds I put into that right torso? It just would not pop.
Well, I've seen that with the Direwolf. If you put the LB5Xs, you can't do enough damage.
I don't know. When one of them fuckers are bearing down on me, I'd lose my armor quick enough.
Well, the LBX isn't intended to lose your armor. It's intended to do critical damage. And more often than not, you face fresh mechs, which is going to take forever to break down. But still, yeah, the Ghost Heat problem, it's quite severe.
Do you have a solution for Ghost Heat?
Yes. The solution I have for Ghost Heat is don't boat lasers. Don't you do it. Don't fucking boat lasers. It's just an invitation to overheat, shut down, and get viciously murdered by either your teammates who are firing LRMs at you and the enemy circling around you, or the Daka Wolf who just turned a corner and saw, oh, a shut down mech.
Yeah. But the problem with Ghost Heat is that it does adversely affect certain weapons. I'm not a huge fan of the clans, but I think one of their key weapons, the ERPPC, is very unfairly affected by Ghost Heat. On legitimate builds that use them, like the Hellbringer and one of the Gargoyles, they both come with 2 ERPPCs and the Adder Prime.
Yes, but then isn't the whole idea of playing with PPCs that you fire them not as a pair, but as single weapons?
Well, I don't know, because in Tabletop, for instance, the Awesome, the way the heatsinks worked was it had 28 single heatsinks, and each PPC generated 10 points of heat, so you could fire all 3 and overheat a little, and then next round you could fire 2 and get rid of all your remaining heat, and then you could fire 3 again, so you could effectively do 30, 20, 30, 20, 30, 20 damage if you got really good rolls. But the way Ghost Heat works it is that you can't really fire for that big energy punch, because you overheat too quickly. Single heatsinks are near worthless, and clan double heatsinks don't seem that much better than Inner Sphere ones, you know?
Yeah, I've realized that. For any of you guys who just might try to convince us that standard heat sinks are good, commit suicide at this moment, right now. We don't want to hear anything of what you have to say. It's double heat sinks or nothing. Standard heat sinks are for people who don't understand the game, and which is
I mean,
the
unless
current
you
meta.
can't afford doubles. I mean, if you're stuck with singles, we pity you. Don't commit your suicide just yet. Just save up 1.5 mil for the double heatsink upgrade. You'll be much happier.
Actually, commit suicide. I don't want to play against you or with you.
Oh God.
I mean, if I drop with teammates who have run single heatsinks, I could just it would be merciful for me to team kill them and then wipe off the whole enemy team by myself and then declare ultimate victory. That way I provide an incentive to get double heatsinks.
Yeah, if only that'd be true. So, are there any personal changes you would bring to Community Warfare? I mean, with what we know about the upcoming patch aside.
Well, one thing I would like to change is it would be the turrets. They are way too powerful. And they're gonna be so stupidly powerful now that they're gonna implement 3 small generators that you have to destroy before you can go after the big cannon. Oh, they're gonna be surrounded by turrets and you're gonna get your legs blown off and you're gonna be miserable. That's the one
true.
change I would do.
But I think they said they were going to give us more cover. I mean, there's only 2 maps, but I assume we'll have better cover options inside.
Well, PGI is slowly restoring faith in itself, but let's see what the patch brings, and if they do happen to shit the bed, then I guess then we'll have material for another session.
Yeah, I think Community Warfare, I think one of the changes I would like to see is something a bit more in fitting with canon. I know some people don't give a shit about canon, but I would really like it where clans could not have artillery and airstrikes. But I would probably reduce how many shells are in the inner sphere artillery strikes.
I got a good one for you. 10v12.
Oh, well, as Russ Bullock once told us, that would completely grind Community Warfare development to a halt.
Now, how is it supposed to do that?
I
they
don't
have
know.
Community Warfare. As soon as you take a clan contract, it's 10 maximum. It's so easy to implement.
Apparently not. Apparently the matchmaking system would collapse under the pressure.
I think that's more of PGI feeding us a shit sandwich.
I think maybe this beta period for Community Warfare could have worked a bit better if the clans could only really fight each other in their sectors above the inner sphere, and the inner sphere could only fight each other, and that way they could work out the wrinkles with things like matchmaking and updating the planet status and all that general stuff. Because I think what they've done is good, and I like where they're going with the patches they're doing. But I would have really liked to have seen 10v12. Yeah, that would have been my number one request from this.
Well, they are gonna fix the capture thingamabob on the planets. So it's not attacker wins; it's actually a percentage instead of a set number of wins.
Yeah.
So then you can see the overall total more easily.
Isn't it the same 11 or whatever matches it is that you still need, and if you get like 6 of them, you won?
No, it's because we can't dynamically see what other teams are doing on the planet.
Yeah.
So they're implementing a percentage instead that represents what all teams are doing at the same time.
Right.
And that will give you a better idea of which planet's gonna flip, which planet do you have to attack, which planet do you have to defend. Which is quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, the long wait times at the moment are very, very annoying sometimes. I think the longest I've waited as a solo player to get into a match was about 32 minutes once.
Oh, I've timed out the waiting period.
Yeah, it was at max is 40.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I guess, you know what, I guess we'll leave it there.
Well, it seems like a good way to wrap things up. How long have I been recording? The last one was like 9 minutes.
Yeah. Well, as you can guess, if you're watching this and listening to us just ramble on, it's the first time doing this. I would hope we get better. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, then just again, let me know in the comments. Maybe it would be a better idea. maybe it would be a better idea if people could suggest topics for us to discuss for each one. I think that would be a good one. So if you want to hear me and Verrak discuss something while we play MechWarrior Online and get our asses handed to us, then we're more than up for that.
And if you don't, I'm gonna come home to you and take a dump on your pillow.
He has done this to me, by the way. He's not joking. Okay. So once again, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for everyone who subscribed and suggested videos in the past. There'll be more Lore Warrior stuff coming up throughout the week, moving up to the rest of the mediums and the early heavies. And as I said, check out Verrak's videos in the description below. Have a good one, everyone. This is Critical Rocket signing out, and Verrak.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.